Hey guys, and welcome to this video. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing all about that classic story that we've heard so many times, that immigration is directly responsible for the housing bubble in Canada or the housing price increases that are happening. And this is a story that has been told in nearly every housing bubble that there has been in every country around the world. And we're going to dive into the statistics, the actual facts of why that could be false. And we're also going to look at, if that is true, why that is really alarming for the housing market going forward. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into this. So guys, the first thing I want to talk about, and please stay to the end of this video, I got some important announcements that are really super important. So stay to the end of the video. Even if you can't watch the majority of this video, just skip past to the last minute where I make those announcements because you just don't want to miss them. So anyway, guys, the first thing we're going to talk about, and unfortunately, like Statistics Canada is really difficult to get statistics from, funnily enough, and they only go far as 2016. So we can only kind of estimate that that's incrementally gone up, just like it has in the past. And we're just going to look at a few things. So let's jump right into this. So I had to make some notes because yes, I want to be somewhat accurate here. And as always, guys, I just want to say my job is not trying to persuade you that there is a housing bubble or anything like that. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you own a house and you're like just typing up in the comments right now, there's no housing bubble, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. My job is not to persuade you to change your mind. I know that that's a failure because anybody who understands investing and trading psychology knows that trying to change somebody who has a normalcy bias, you're never going to change them. The only people who can change them are themselves. So my job is not to persuade those people. No, I just want people to wake up. And some people, a lot of people that watch this channel and subscribe to this channel are awake. And I want people to prepare for what may or may not happen. Now, the probabilities, and I always have to say this, there is always a chance that I'm wrong. And I accept that. Do you ever hear that on the other side? The people who say housing prices are always going to go up, do they ever say that there's a chance that they're wrong? No, of course they don't, because they don't have the proper psychology for assessing markets and such. Now, all I accept is the probabilities are highly stacked in my favor, and that is why I have confidence, and that's called investor confidence. Now, this goes for a lot of things, but mainly what I do in my business and what I do on the side. So anyway, guys, let's jump into these statistics. So the first thing I just want to talk about is, and it's never talked about, you literally never hear this, is the average salary as in 2016, and it's estimated to be around 31, 32. It hasn't gone up that much. The average salary in 2016 for an immigrant coming in was $28,000. Now you can go look that up. Like, the statistics are out there. You can go Google that. $28,000. In that same year, the average salary for a Canadian was $57,000. That's more than double the salary of immigrants coming in. So first of all, I just want to say that immigrants coming in are getting lower salaries. They are on lower salaries. So if there's loads of immigrants coming in, chances are they're on lower salaries. So I just want to plant that seed in your mind. Next, we're going to move to the immigration numbers. Now, a lot of immigration is not skilled workers. So when Trudeau says that he's going to bring 400,000 immigrants in per year, what you don't realize is a large proportion of those people coming in do not have a job lined up, and they are not skilled workers. So, and this goes with the statistics, which I have right here for 2016. So 186,000 immigrants came in 2016. The total with income who had a job was 112,820. which leaves 39.5% without income. So that's a huge share if you think about it. So the fact is, a lot of immigrants are coming in without jobs, without salaries, and a lot of immigrants that are coming in with jobs have an average of getting a lower paid job than a Canadian. So, and that goes with all the mentality that you need Canadian work experience and how valued Canadian work experience is, and how that would need to change going forward for immigrants to have a fair chance. And I totally agree with that, because when I first moved to Canada, in the first couple of years, I had a terrible salary. It was difficult to get a job because I didn't have that Canadian work experience. I'm an immigrant. I know the process. I've sat in the rooms, I've done the tests with other immigrants. I know the type of people that are coming to this country. Most people who are saying that housing prices are going up forever, they ain't immigrants and they have no fucking clue about the immigration system. So yeah, it makes me slightly angry when they think they know the system and they talk about it and just make up lies, essentially. And they're never based on facts. Like when you hear these immigration stories of housing prices are rising because of immigration, where are the facts? Where are the statistics saying 70% of immigrants are buying houses? And if they are, according to this, then they're subprime. And I think that is a very distinct possibility, which we're going to go into in another video, because there's 3 mortgage insurance companies in Canada and 2 of them are dog shit, and we need to go through this and we need to talk about the facts with these companies and what they're doing and what their offerings have changed to be over the past 3 years, so people can begin to understand and wake up and realize. And yeah, I'm saying this with emotion because it's actually fucking true. Whereas what most people say is just bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And we're going to go through this. Is the subprime market in Canada is massive. There is a big demand in the subprime market. And that is partly to do with why you've seen prices inflate everywhere, not just in Toronto and Vancouver. Now, Toronto and Vancouver do not account for a bigger share of that subprime market than all these other places, and we're going to go into that. Basically, guys, like if you go to any like low income area like Jane and Finch in Toronto, or the parts of the northeast in Calgary, or any low income area where there's lots of low income housing, and you walk around. I've done this because I worked in and out of these buildings before as a contractor. And guess what, guys? Most of them are immigrants. That's just the way it is. So, there's just this whole myth which has been set up. And it happens every time. Like every time there's a housing bubble, it happens. Like in 1989, they were pointing to immigration. They were pointing to the women, the fact that now 2 people are working in a household instead of just one, as why the housing prices were rising. And that could very much kind of be sort of true to a point, but that doesn't mean that there won't be a collapse in prices. And that doesn't mean that there's not a credit crisis and a credit bubble that's forming. And that is what we're going to talk about in other videos and stuff like that, and how you can protect yourself. Because I think a lot of people do want to know, hey, how can I protect myself? How can I protect my future? Like, if I can't own a home right now, what can I own that I know historically is going to go up in value and is going to be a good store of wealth? Because putting your money in the bank just is not a great source of wealth, as we know. That's why a lot of people are spending it, and it all seems logical. But anyway, guys, I hope this kind of opens your eyes a little bit and just makes you realize that when these people say stuff, I just want you to ask questions. Like when you see that article that comes out that says all the millennials are buying up housing, are there any facts? Are there any facts in that argument? When you see the Zillow CEO coming on saying that housing prices are going to go up 50% in the next 2 years, ask the question, Zillow CEO, it's right there in front of you, but people will ignore it. When you learn about psychology and investing psychology, you'll really begin to understand this, why people have this. And it's actually the way our brains function. You know, you can't actually blame these people too much who read the news and stuff like that, because it's actually to do with the two separate parts of our brain and how they work, that we actually relate pieces of information that actually have no relation at all. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. So now the announcements. Okay, so first big announcement that I want to make. There's a march in August. It's happening across lots of different Canadian cities. Yes, I'm covering. Have you heard about this march? Of course you haven't, because mainstream media is not going to be covering this, because mainstream media is funded by the government. It's funded by the banks. It is not funded by us, the people, even though it is directly through taxpayer dollars. But it is an elitist group of people that manage that media to make more money from you and from me. So anyway, this march is to force the politicians to act on housing. I think it's a great thing. I mean, this is really changing the direction, and this is another thing that people will underestimate, is the power of the people coming together, which is happening, and it's starting to become a real big movement. You've just got to see the Reddit Canada housing sub, and you can also see that they're now doing billboards and all kinds of things. People have had enough, and their parents have also had enough. And if you go to Nanaimo and talk to people, or you go to Windsor and talk to people, and you say, do you agree with the housing prices going up 30-40%? They will say no. They will say no. Now my kids can't afford to buy a house, because most of them are blue collar workers. A lot of people don't understand what is really going on. But this is a good thing anyway. The fact that people are going against this will change a lot of investors' psychology, because risk is now going up. Risk is now going up as an investor. But anyway, guys, I could talk about this for a long time. The other thing I want to say, the CPI comes out on Wednesday. It comes out at, where is it? 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So the CPI month over month, you need to watch that. That is an important figure that's coming out. They're predicting 0.4% like they did last month. It was wrong last month. It will probably be wrong this month. It will probably be around 1%. How do I know this? And I might not be right about this. I'm basically going off all the other countries that have reported, because Canada is the last, because they're just slow. And that's what I said about Statistics Canada, who makes these statistics. They're slow. They drip feed them to us. Canada is one of the slowest countries to come out with statistics. So anyway, we're behind everyone else. Most other countries have reported over 1% growth. New Zealand, there's now high odds that they're going to raise rates by the end of the year, as soon as next month. So watch this space, because that figure is kind of important, because retail sales, which were reported for May, were negative, and the CPI index was positive 0.5%. So what does that mean? That means consumer sentiment is going down whilst prices are going up. So stagflation is actually here, whether you believe it or not. Those are facts and figures. You can go to investing.com. There's going to be links in the description, guys. There's going to be links in the pinned comment. Make sure to join these marches. I wish there was one in Calgary. I would go to it. But anyway, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace and love. Take care. Bye.